Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Natural State Sports. We are live tonight from the Judy Buck Strength and Conditioning Center on the campus of Pulaski Academy here in Little Rock. And we've got a very special guest. Before I get to intro him, I have to intro my counterpart. What's up, Andy?
Oh, not much. Just another night.
Another Friday, huh?
Let's roll.
So, our special guest tonight, in his 16 years as head coach of Pulaski Academy, he's amassed a record of 203 wins, 29 losses, and 1 tie. He is the fastest coach in the history of high school football here in Arkansas to reach that 200-win mark. Of that, he is 123-5 when onside recovery. He is 54-2 when they recover 2 onside kicks. He is an 8-time 5A state champion. He has produced 27 Division I players. He's got several other accolades. Our guest tonight is none other than head coach Kevin Kelley. What's up, Coach?
Not much. Glad to be here.
So before we jump into that, because I want to break this down for you. Andy and I have been breaking down the top players in the SEC era in Razorback football.
Okay.
If you have some, jump right on in.
I'm going to see y'all's list.
Okay.
And then kind of comment and maybe choose from that.
All
They're
right.
secret. You can't see them yet.
So this is, Andy, this is the final week that we get to break down football.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad about that.
And we've got the running backs and the linebackers this week.
We do.
And the next week
trying to
you
get to mine.
said something about jumping into baseball, which is going to be
Baseball,
you're gonna
basketball.
school me, aren't you?
Well, I don't think I've.
Easy there, buddy.
Well, I mean, have
Don't
you been
say it.
schooled yet?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
We need
Well,
to
you admitted
relive
it, so it's okay.
Hey, so let me have your number 5.
Well, before we get to that, I think last week some of y'all that were watching heard me talk about a list of linebackers. Obviously, we're going to do later. I'm going to put up a $25 gift card for somebody if they can get a list posted and get it over to Will before the end of the show if it matches mine or Zach's list. If somebody gets an exact on either one of them.
The names are in order, too.
Names got to be in order. Top 5, 1 to 5.
So do me and Coach qualify for that $25 gift card?
He can, you can't.
Man,
It's nice.
why you always got to take things from me, man?
I didn't take it. You got to earn it. I don't think you're going to match
Not
mine on that.
not after my one quip, but we're not going to go there.
Okay, Ben.
Easy. All right, who's your number 5?
I've got Madre Hill as my 5.
All right, tell me why.
Well, he had a pretty solid career as a Razorback running back. You heard his name called a whole bunch. Especially,
well, I was a kid when he played.
I was too. I mean, but you followed then, so
True.
you were there. He amassed 2,407 yards in his career, 25 touchdowns, had 32 receptions, 1 touchdown there, 1 kick return TD in 33 games. He was a 7th-round pick to the Browns, averaged 4.4 yards a carry as his career.
Okay.
And that is why I have him at my 5 hole.
I have Madre Hill as well at number 5.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Coach, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm going to write the rest of mine down. Because
Uh-oh.
I had him at my 5. Seriously,
Uh-oh.
in my head, I just came up with 5. I don't want y'all to think I'm lying, so I'm writing down the rest of mine. Too.
Okay.
But I think that's a great 5. And he should, he was better than 4.4, too, in my opinion. He didn't have he had some tough times.
He had a bunch of
some great
carries
lines
down there real close to the goal line, a bunch that got a lot of that kills a lot of that. But, yeah.
See if I have mine.
He had a pretty good running counterpart there a couple of years right there towards the end of his career, too, that kind of took a little away. I think so. What do you got at 4?
Cedric
Coach's
Cobb,
writing.
good old C4.
Sid.
589 total carries, 3,018 yards.
38
Dyslexia was kicking in for a minute. 26 touchdowns. He was drafted in the 4th round of the New England Patriots. And then I think he played for the Broncos.
He had a little time with the Broncos. He had a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots, too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there.
Are we going to match this week?
Wow.
I hope not, but if we do, we do.
All right,
It'd be
first
something.
time for everything.
Yeah, somebody else had to been doing your research again.
Dude, this was all me this week. Trust me, I was slaving over it. Coach, who's your 4?
I had Felix Jones.
Felix.
Okay.
So a stud of a running back.
Well, I thought, if he plays any other time besides with those guys, with Peyton Hillis and D-Mac, and he's the feature back, I think he was a good catch out of the backfield guy. I mean, I think he was a potential, 1,800-yard total yards guy.
I
I
wouldn't
think
doubt
he's that
that one
quick.
bit.
I went up and watched him practice. I was more impressed with him, way more impressed than I was with even Peyton Hillis. And I know he had some good times. And
He's had great hands.
And D-Mac too. I mean, in a coach like me in my offense, I hate to say this, I would have rather had Felix than D-Mac because I knew he could catch the ball out of the backfield. He could make people miss, put them in one-on-one situations. D-Mac's going to hit the hole and be gone. Mm-hmm. But if there's not a hole, he wasn't as good at making you miss in the hole.
No.
So
Felix was extremely shifty. I mean, the first couple of steps right there at the line was
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
stop on a dime and leave you 9 cents change.
He played for my Cowboys there for a little bit. So.
Yeah, he did. He was on up there in a
He
pick,
did.
too.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to have a good career, too.
So did I. All right. Who's your number 3?
I got Alex Collins at 3. So,
Okay.
Alex at 3, I fought my 3 and my 2 for a couple of reasons there. Alex had 3,703 yards in a career, 36 touchdowns, 27 receptions for 167 on 38 games. 5.6 yards a carry. It's pretty. I think anything over 5 is as a running back, in my opinion, is pretty solid. Just, I don't know. I liked his work ethic as far as on the field. In college, I liked it. I don't know what has happened since then, but I loved how he'd get up, hand the ball to the referee, go back to the huddle, just like his business as usual.
Coach?
I have Peyton Hillis. I know I said Felix I thought was better, but I liked Peyton Hillis. I liked what he brought. I liked the hard work attitude. I liked wasn't afraid to block for somebody. I mean, you got to have at least one guy in this 5 that blocked.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's your blocker, in my opinion. Out of those 5 guys that I've got, he's the one that would lead block for him. He would block in the passing game. So and really probably out of my 5, arguably the best pro career in his little short span.
Albino Rhino.
He made the front of the Madden.
Madden.
Yeah, then what happened?
The Madden curse.
Yeah, exactly.
Madden curse.
So do we expect one for the next guy that covered Madden, this most recent one with Mahomes?
I don't know.
So that'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting.
I think that's a different animal.
Yeah.
Especially in that offense.
Right. My number 3 is Felix Jones.
You got Felix at 3.
I got Felix at 3.
Well, I probably can fill out the rest of your list from here. I would think I could.
Well, you've done it for 3 weeks now, so I mean,
Can't help that.
except for your weird quarterback list you had.
That quarterback list was epic. I mean, who didn't think that Ben Hicks was the greatest quarterback in Razorback history?
Well, we're not going to go into that.
He could throw it to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but Nick Starkle
Sometimes.
could throw it to San Jose State.
If either one of y'all had either one of those on your list, I mean, I hope everybody stopped listening right then.
I think they got mad at me. I made a fake list that week.
okay.
He pulled
I
a
came
quick
up with
on
one. I
me.
had A.J. Derby. I had
Who ended up doing good as a tight end?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had A.J. I had Ben Hicks, Nick Starkle, Robbie Hampton, and I think Alex Mortensen was on the list.
Goodness gracious.
I had to dig a little
No, I
bit.
love Alex Mortensen, not as a quarterback, but as a guy and as a,
I was
in
hoping
the
he would
football
do-
coaching world right now, good guy.
He went.
Didn't really get a
the
chance
more
at
he
the
went into the
quarterback
list, Coach,
Yeah.
the more I was like,
About choked
yeah,
during things.
several times. All right, so what number are we on? Are we on 2? I got Alex Collins at 2.
Well, we already know about Alex.
Yep.
Buddha, he's a good man. I have Felix at 2.
See, I wrestled with that one. I wrestled.
That
with
was
2 and 3.
that was my swap. That was those 2. And I mean, Felix just across the board. I mean, what Coach was talking about earlier, catching the ball out of the backfield. But I mean, just a staggering number of 7.7 yards as a carry, as a career. 1,749 kick return yards. An All-American as a freshman, I think, as a returner in 07.
Right.
But I mean, you've already touched on the yards and touchdowns and all that, but just playing with McFadden and still to do that, and exactly what he was talking about with, had he had, a feature back career, I mean, we're talking a totally different animal.
Yeah, he'd have been completely different. Coach, who's your number 2?
I had Cedric Cobb at 2.
Okay.
And I just thought if he had played in a little bit better offense and had a little bit better play calling, I mean, everybody's crowding the line. They're running 5-yard outs all the time, and he was he had the potential to be an absolute animal like D-Mac, I think.
Okay.
Remember that? I don't know if y'all can remember. In that bowl game against Texas, he really then showed what he could do. I mean, to be as big as he was and from 0 to full speed as fast as he did, he was a freak. And I always thought if he could have done some things better in the NFL, he would have had a good career in the NFL, but he wasn't really good at staying within some of their rules.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
Or any rules.
Or, yeah, well,
Yeah,
maybe
Ernie
so.
Rule. All right, so I think we
Ton of
have a
talent.
consensus at the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
D-Mac,
I don't
number
think
5.
I don't think there's anyone, but probably one of the. Don't think I'm overstepping my bounds saying probably one of the best running backs in college football history. My personal opinion.
I agree. I can agree with that.
I'd have liked to seen a 4th year out of him just to see what kind of stats he could have came with another year. But you can't blame a guy for taking the money when you're going to be the 4th overall pick in the draft. I hated that he went to the Raiders. Just because I personally think all careers go to die if they go to the Raiders.
Anybody you love, you don't want him to go to the Raiders.
I was a big Randy Moss fan. Always
me
have
too,
been.
me too.
And when he went to the Raiders, I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's all
What are we going to do?
You go to the Raiders, it's over.
That's how the Redskins used to be. They used to nickname the Deadskins. Are they still recognized as the Deadskins?
I don't know how.
Not as much as the Raiders.
That.
I mean, look at Antonio Brown. He's leading the world. He gets traded to the Raiders. Now he's not even in the league anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's done with the Raiders.
So do you have any honorable mentions?
I got a few.
See if they match up with me.
Well, I had Peyton Hillis on my honorable mention.
Yeah.
I had Fred Talley on my honorable mention.
Yep.
I liked him just because of how fast he was. I think his freshman year, I think he played nickelback and he was a punt returner, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 years he played running back, and he played with was it Cedric that he played with a couple years? Yeah, I think it's.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Will, of course.
Of course.
Niall had a heck of a single season up there and pretty much stayed hurt. He played a little pro ball. Raleigh Williams.
Raleigh, had he not hurt his neck, he'd
would have loved to have seen a full career out of that guy. Chris Chikuma, Michael Smith, Dennis Johnson, Rakeem Boyd, honestly. I can't wait to see if everything goes the way it is. He's averaging 6.1 yards a carry right now through his career.
Yep.
I think that kid's got a lot of talent, and obviously it's shown, and I really, really look forward to seeing this year of football with him.
I'm excited.
What you got over there?
Same list. Talley, Jay Will, Niall Davis, Chikuma, and then Raleigh. They're pretty spot on.
I put an old school James Rouse in there. That's old school. He shared a lot of the backfield.
How far old school are we talking?
I'm talking probably mid '80s, I guess.
That was in the Southwest Conference.
Okay.
Was that Southwest Conference?
Yeah, that was Southwest.
Barry Foster.
I can't even remember. When did he go to the Southeast Conference? 91 or 2?
Yeah, 91.
92.
Okay, 92. Yeah, somewhere in there.
92 is when
I
we
guess
first
he
started
was
playing.
before that then.
All right. Everybody's asking about, Terry says, I think Alex Collins was the most complete back at Arkansas. He could block very well. Something
fast
McFadden
enough.
wasn't as great at.
No, McFadden could throw the ball too, though.
Yes, he could.
The wild hole.
All right, when we come back, we're going to jump into this new mini-series that Coach and the PA Bruins have out. Stay with us. You're watching Inside the Natural State. Natural State Sports. My bad.
You're playing like a nervous little kid
It's a big burden to carry.
inside.
double fold, and dagger.
Right now, I don't have any college offers.
You're in a freaking zone. Everything you do is magic.
Got to be able to go out and prove every single Friday night with bigger guys.
You done for the year?
Get him moving. Jaden wanted to run his route about 50%.
The goal for me is to be a Division I football player.
Freaking tell me you want to go play college ball, and then you get that. You want me to tell coaches good things, and that's what I get? Should never happen. Never.
Everyone's on the bus but Jaden.
Freak's he doing?
Get on the goal line. We're just going to run.
Let's go! Hey, yo, keep it on this video to get drippy. You know that.
All right, welcome back to Natural State Sports Live. Apparently, I don't know what show I'm on.
Well, can you fix that?
I can.
What show are you on?
Natural State Sports Live.
Okay, just to clarify.
I don't know where I was for a minute.
Right there.
I know, and I'm the one that wrote the paper out.
Just read the paper, bud.
So, as you saw in the trailer before we came back, Coach Kevin Kelley and the Pulaski Academy Bruins have a mini-series out on Overtime Season. It's SZN on YouTube. Episode 1 premiered last week. And, Coach, there are several videos out there about you and your coaching philosophy. Mm-hmm. This one is a little bit different, though. It shows, to me, it shows your passion not only for the game of football, but for your players as well. What was it like making this documentary last year?
You know, it was different. I've had people come. I mean, we had an ESPN 30 for 30 short. They followed us for a week. HBO Real Sports has been here 3 times. They followed us for a week. But for somebody to be here for 4.5 months, it was way different. You know, as a coach, you want the kids to be normal and natural. You don't want them to act differently because they're on television. So when the cameras are all there and the boom mics are hanging down in every little congregation that you have on the field, you worry about that. But after a week, you just forget that they're there. They're there so much. And in their defense, they did a good job of blending in. I mean, it's part of their job is to blend into the background. So the guy that did the series had just done, he had just finished working for Sports Illustrated and done some stuff with some NFL guys, and that's what they tell them to do, blend in where they don't notice you as much. So after about a week, we don't notice it anymore, and then then it was more of I would get home at night and lay in bed and think, did I say anything today? Because I've got a mic on me all the time, like 17 hours a day, And I mean, he's there on Saturdays. He's there on my house on Sundays. I'm watching NFL games. There's a camera right here sometimes, and a mic. I'm just there by myself with a computer, watching my film, watching NFL. And so, at the end of the day, it was kind of troubling. You're just like, did I say anything really stupid? I don't worry about saying anything bad or wrong or controversial. I just worry about saying something dumb. And but I like the way they did it though, because they wanted to make a TV show and they wanted to follow the emotions of the game and they wanted to let people see what it's like behind the scenes, in the locker room, on the sideline. I didn't know how they were going to be able to put all that together because they've got 500 hours of footage, and they're putting it into 14, 15-minute episodes. So, but they did a good job. The first one, if you saw that, they picked out 3 kids to follow that had unique stories. So they're filming all these kids, and then they're going back and watching the film and picking out the 3 stories they want to follow. Then they follow them the rest of the time, and then they follow me. So I think it's pretty cool the way they put it together and show all that and get a storyline where maybe people want to come back and see what happens to Savannah, what happens to Braden Bradshaw, that kind of stuff, because we all know what happened because we're here in Arkansas, but nationally a lot of people don't. So, and they were really happy. I think they were up to almost 750,000 views. Wow. And so they were pretty excited about it it's so excited they're sending one of the producers back down this week, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to do some follow-up interviews.
Oh, nice.
And he's going to film me with getting a tattoo. A year added to the tattoo to finish it out and close it out. So
nice.
That's kind of cool.
That sounds like fun. Following that loss in 2018 to Little Rock Christian in the state title game, we heard you talk about a text that you received from the starting quarterback. Will we see throughout the series how he stepped up and became that leader?
Yeah, they chose to follow the quarterback before they ever met him, and then you couldn't have picked a better story to follow because we did. We lost to Little Rock Christian. They're right down the street, And there's a weird rivalry there, and it seems like it's even more so amongst the parents than it is the kids and coaches. I think we have our kids respect them. We know they can play football. Our coaches respect them. We know they can coach well, and I think it's they're both. You know, we obviously want to beat each other, but there's a weird little thing right there between parents and stuff. And what happens when they beat us in the state championship game? It wasn't just that they beat us. We had won 4 in a row. And it was a chance to do something. Only one team has ever done that in Arkansas history. So it was a chance to break the record. And Braden was the quarterback, and he fell. I mean, what I teach our kids is never to blame somebody else. Always take the responsibility yourself. And then nobody else is going to downgrade you. If Braden's throwing a bad pass and he goes, you got to catch that, or you got to run faster, they're going to turn and get mad at him. But if he says, my fault, I've got to throw it perfectly to you. Then they're going to be like, no, it's my fault. I've got to catch that. So that's what everybody owns it. And so, and then in the big picture, I own it. Well, he owned that loss, and he felt like it was his fault, and he let the kids down. He felt like he let the parents down, the coaches down. So when we lost that game, man, he just took a tough thing into the off season. And the bad thing is you got to wait another 8 months before you play a game and can redeem yourself. And the text you saw was actually after we played Bryant in the scrimmage game. So first game back, that's his first action. Even though it's a scrimmage and we know they're really good, we're going out there and we want to put together some good drives and perform well. He didn't feel like he could. He did, and he didn't do poorly. That was my fault. I didn't have him ready. And but afterward, I'm here with the overtime guys, and they weren't even filming yet. They just came to observe that game, but they wanted to get out the camera and take a look and go. I mean, they saw me text him. It was midnight. I'm watching film by myself. I sent all the coaches home because it was Tuesday night. And he sends me that text out of the blue. And they're like, we got to get this. Can we get this? And I'm like, I told you, it's open door. So that's where that came from. But that shows a lot about that kid. And then he carried that with him the rest of the season because the whole time he wanted to make up for last year because he thought he let us down. And he didn't let us down. There's 500 ways you lose a ball game. It's not because of one kid ever. So it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and I couldn't be more happy to look at him and the kids smiling at the end. People say, what was your best thing about the season? Looking at their expressions when it was over with because they felt redeemed and like it was all worth it.
What did that text mean to you as a coach, getting that from one of your players?
You have relationships in football. You have, like everything, you have work relationships, and then on the side, you have friendship relationships off the air, off the job or whatever. Most coaches love their off-the-field relationships, and that showed what it is. I mean, we've got a strong enough bond, and we've put so much time and effort into it together in so many ways that he felt a responsibility. He didn't want me to feel bad. Forget letting me down or anything like that. He didn't want me to worry that night. That shows you how much he cared. And that means to me, that meant the world because it shows that, he thought that much of me where he's like, I mean, he didn't have to send that. That didn't do him any good at all. And so I love seeing the kind of kid he was and the character and worried about everybody else instead of feeling sorry for himself. And I knew he was that way anyway, but I thought that really showed it.
Well, could you explain the silent practice and where that idea came from?
Yeah, we started that, 10 years ago. And if we feel like things are going goofy or they need to learn to communicate better without talking or with signals or whatever, or sometimes just to change things up because you get in a routine, it's hard to keep people's attention. And if you do the same thing over and over, if a teacher walks in and she lectures, when you're in 10th grade, how much did you like that? No, you didn't like it. Can you mix it up? Can we draw something on the board?
In general,
But I want to mix up practice some, and that's a good way to mix it up. And I don't know that the kids like it, but they did a good job of showing the kids communicating. I mean, it's silent. You say a word without me giving you permission to say a word first. And you can't raise your hand. I mean, and so you've got to learn to communicate without. Well, that's what you're doing on the field. You have to learn to communicate when the crowd's there and you're across the field from saying he can't hear you anyway. So it's a dual-edged sword in that it helps us with that part, the communication part, but it also changes things up where the kids pay attention more. You've got to pay attention when nobody's saying anything. And it's way different. It's pretty cool. And now we're also training them to hear our voices. because we coach from the sidelines. Everybody coaches from the sidelines. We want them to learn to listen to us. I'm yelling stuff. The D-backs coach, the defensive coordinators are yelling stuff at the same time, and they've got to learn to listen to us only. And it's easier when they don't have something else going on at the same time.
You have a player that switched from running back last year, from the previous year, to wide receiver. Kind of talk about will we see more of that story going forward?
Yeah, they focus on that story the whole year. The funny thing is, this is another thing we do differently here. I let kids pick their positions. When you get into 10th grade, you can pick whatever you want to. And you'd think, well, what if everybody decided to want to play quarterback? Well, that means only one can start. That means we'd have everybody else standing and sitting on the bench. So it's funny the way it gravitates, and that gives them a little ownership in it. Well, this young man had 2,000 yards receiving and rushing the year before, and a heck of a player. But he's also like 6'1". Now he's a thin kid, but he's 6'1". And some college guys told him, "Hey, you might be a receiver. We'd like to see you play receiver." He came back and he gets to pick his position. He said, "I want to play receiver." I told him I didn't think that was a good idea. Because if somebody's going to take you, you're going to have another 2,000-yard season this year. I mean, that's a big-time deal. And receiver in our offense is really hard, really difficult to learn because we have 5 million plays and we expect you to be able to run them a certain way.
Right.
The odd part was they made a point of saying that in the show that he switched to receiver. I got so many messages on Instagram or people looked up my email or whatever saying, "You're an idiot, coach, for switching a running back that got 2,000 yards to receiver." And I'm not going to bother replying back. He made the switch, not me. Right. But
So the truth
I'll be
comes
honest, I probably wouldn't have switched him. But he went on, had a good year, and but they'll follow that along the way. And I think, I've seen a couple more episodes than everybody else, but it does keep me wondering throughout the thing, did he make the right decision right there? And I guess that remains to be seen.
That's a good one.
What are the top 3 reasons a team wins a game? Like I wanted to ask you that in our interview last year.
They score more points. First off, I'll tell you that.
Different teams is different things, but one reason most teams win games or they have superior talent. I mean, the more talent you have more than the other team, you can make less mistakes. That's it. I mean, you can make more mistakes. That's at all levels of football. It doesn't matter. If you're Arkansas and you're playing Alabama, you can't make any mistakes. Exactly. Alabama can make a lot of mistakes.
Yes, they
so
can.
The better you are talent-wise, the more mistakes you can make. So that's one. Regardless of what people think when you win, you have superior talent. What I've learned to do is when we'll always have a talented guy, and you build a lot around them. And it might be a Hunter Henry or a Hudson Henry, and it's a tight end type person. I'll morph my offense around him. It might be a running back like a Broderick Green. I'll change it to a running game. He ran for 2,000 yards. I had a Jaron Watkins, a little 5'5" kid. He ran for 2,000 yards. We'll morph it to whoever we need to morph it to. And a lot of coaches won't do that. They go, "This is my offense. Here's where I'm going to do it." So I think the other thing is if your coach is a good X's and O's and good strategy guy. And then the third thing I think is what kind of the buzzword in coaching right now is culture. In the NFL and in college and in high school, the buzzword's culture. What kind of culture do you have? What that means is, to me, what it means is we hold our kids accountable. They've got a job to do. If they choose to play football, then they choose to do what we ask them to do. And so if they're ever like, "Well, I don't like that." Well, you don't have to play, kid. I mean, we're teaching about life and stuff like that. But the other thing is competition. We make the kids compete. And it isn't, and the other part that I think makes us win is big picture. And what I mean is, if I got a kid late and I go, "You're not playing this game," maybe we lose that game. But I promise you, every kid in those 3 grades, 10 through 12, see it, and they're not late anymore. Now we're a better team for the long haul. So I'm willing to sacrifice a one game for the big picture of the team sometimes. And overall, that's a culture type thing. And then finally, the last thing is, for us is we base everything we do on the top 5 things that win and lose football games. And what I mean by that is the number one thing that wins a game at any level is whoever has the most explosive plays. For college, it's plays over 20 yards. Everybody thinks it's turnovers. Turnovers is 2. But then again, everybody talks about turnovers, right? So how am I going to be any better than that guy is about talking about turnovers? But not everybody talks about explosive plays. There's another thing, 77% of all games are won by who has the most quarterback sacks. So what do? My offense is designed to get the ball out before 2.5 seconds so we don't take as many sacks. And on defense, we blitz, because if you get a sack, it's a drive killer. And here's an example. I took our first 6 games last year, halfway through the season. I was looking at those. We scored a touchdown 92% of the time that we had the ball. If we didn't have a sack or a penalty on the drive on offense. If we had a sack, the number went from 92 to 8. So when people say sacks are drive killers, even if it was on first down, it's 2nd and 14.
It still kills it.
It kills the drive. It completely screws up the play calling. It completely screws up the, if you're a hurry offense, so many things. There's a million reasons why it could be. But we focus our team around that statistic because that number has been done over hundreds of thousands of games. So it's a big enough sample size to go, that's a real thing. We build our whole team and our philosophy. We talk about it every day in practice about those things that win games. Everybody else is talking about we got to block better, we got to tackle better. Nobody's going to block a whole lot better unless you've got an animal. Nobody's going to tackle a whole lot better unless you've got animals to tackle a whole lot better. But you can make a difference in the way you design your offense and the plays you call on the numbers that win games the most. So that's, for us, I would think it's close to the top.
One of the things we talked about before we came on air, you'd mentioned that you had 4 players over 200 pounds last year, I believe was what you said. Mm-hmm. That's just astounding to have, to put out what y'all put out. To me, it is, at least. With the talent level that y'all play with, I mean, y'all go all over. Texas. I believe y'all played Highland Park a couple years ago, if I remember right. There's some big kids out there now that are just stuck in high school at, 6'5", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And bigger than that in some. And you have 4 over 200 pounds and still put out just how?
Well, it's because of the things I told you, and part of it is mindset. We're a little bit lucky that we've won so much. Our Dumbo kids think they're supposed to win. And there's something to that. And what I mean is,
if you don't win.
No, I mean, they come in and they just think if you're a PA and you play, you win. Now, they don't understand that, from January through December, every single day we're here till 5:30. We don't have, we start at 3:30, we're done at 5:30 every day. Other schools, they're taking off January through March, and they start spring ball, they weight lift during class or whatever.
Off-season program.
So, we make our kids understand that the more you put in, the more you get out. We're putting in more hours than everybody else, and we really, really are. And then you get into the fact that we've designed our thing to eliminate size being as much of a factor. And the way we play the game and the way we run our offense, the way we run our defense, we're willing to gamble. We have to, if you guys are coaching and y'all have a team and y'all are great at running the ball, we're willing to take a guy out of the passing game and overload the run game, your run game, to have a chance to stop you and take that away from you. Most people won't do that. They won't gamble and just say, all right, you guys are man-to-man. Everybody else, you're crammed in the box and going to stop the run. We will, because I don't think it's gambling. I think it's taking away your best thing. But you look, and it's the most dumb thing I've ever seen. A couple of years ago with a previous coaching staff, we're playing Auburn. We're getting ramrodded, and you look up, and Arkansas still playing. They're running all over us. They're not throwing all over us. They're running all over us. Arkansas is still playing 2 high safeties and 2 corners. They've only got 7 guys to stop the run. You start putting motion in there and pulling guards and stuff like that, and they overload you at the point of attack. Pull the safety down. I would have pulled both safeties down and had 9 in the box and said, you're going to throw the ball. You ain't going to keep running. I mean, you're going to run for 400 yards on us. But people won't do it. Coaches won't do it. Here's why. Because they don't want to have to deal with the media when they give up 3 80-yard runs. Because if you do bring the safeties down, he breaks it through the line. He's going for 80. Or you can let him go 14-15, 14-15 touchdown, and you don't get
either way. You don't get 6 on the board field.
Either way it is, but I'd rather have a chance to stop them and make them punt rather than 14-15, 14 touchdown, 14-15, 14 touchdown. But most coaches won't do that. It's called risk aversion. They think about the bad that can happen instead of the good that could happen.
I'm surprised I heard that word come out of your mouth.
Why is that?
Punt.
Oh.
I think we all know that one.
Right, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
That or kicking the ball to the end zone,
Not a big fan.
We're just going to kick it about 10 yards and hope we recover it and get on it here. So.
And if we don't, cram them in the box. And
exactly. Stuff them right there,
exactly
grab a sack.
And hope for the best.
So we've got episode 2 coming up tomorrow.
Actually, moved it to Sunday.
They moved it to Sunday.
Moved it to Sunday.
2 days.
So, okay. So what do we expect in that episode and then moving forward
It's a secret.
in the other ones?
It's pretty cool. In this next one, we go to Nashville, Tennessee to play a team called Ravenwood. I think they ended up with 5 SEC signees. And
Nashville's pretty big.
So
place.
you're gonna see the defensive end that went to Oklahoma. That was the #1 defensive end in the country. He's an absolute animal, and made a huge play to show you that he is a game. He's a gamer. And but you're gonna see some of the difficulties of the end of the Springdale Harbor game. Then they're gonna go into that. They're gonna travel with us and show what it's like. It's not glitz and glamour, believe me. We're riding on a bus with no air conditioner. In early September, it's 95 degrees outside. And then it shows a little bit of the fun. I think we go to Top Golf or something, so it shows that. And then there's a lot of and then we're in the game, and they're showing how hard it was in that game and the game footage and stuff like that. And they're still following those 3 players around, the kicker. And I hate it because everybody thinks I'm terrible. I'm yelling at a girl. But when she agreed to play football, just like I said, when you sign up, and to her credit, she was great with it. And I coached both her brothers, which is odd. I thought I was done with their football family for a while. But, she comes out and plays. And I'm actually the one that asked her. But she when she started, she said, if I play, I want you to treat me like you do the other players. I couldn't do it at first. So last year, start of her 9th grade year, she would miss a kick or do badly. And, I'm not saying anything. The other kicker would mess up, and I'm all over him. And, and she just kept saying, I want to be treated like the guys. And I said, be careful what you ask for, darling. Mm-hmm. And to her credit, that's what she wanted.
Have you?
She cries when she looks at me sometimes because she's a real sensitive kid. I mean, without me even saying anything.
Not
but,
nice.
The funny thing was when I was on her pretty good, she toughened up. I think she got a little mad at me. But
probably.
So in this game, you're going to see me. I got on her a little bit in the first game that you saw, and I get some stuff about how can you be that way towards a girl. I'm like, at that moment, she's not a girl. She's a football player. Yeah. And so this next game, I'm going to really get some dirty messages because I'm on her pretty good. The first kick of the game, I give them a signal. Like I signal in offensive plays, we signal in kicks. She's so nervous at Ravenwood. It was a big deal. We're on some TV station like Fox something, and
that one.
It's there. It's a huge school, and it's a build-up, and I mean, scouts from Bama and Duke and Tennessee and Texas, they're all there watching their guys play. And it's the first kickoff. I send her out there. I think maybe I ought to send the guy. No, I'm going to send her out. To send her out there, the guys are looking at me, the kickoff team, looking at me, waiting for the kick. She just kicks the ball. We don't have a kick called. We don't have it. That's the first kickoff of the game. And I'm just like, what are you doing? It would be like the quarterback calling for the ball. We hadn't called a play yet. Nobody knows what to do, and everybody's standing there, and she's the only one moving. They look up, and they're like, oh, and the ball's already gone, and I get on her pretty good, so I'm going to get some dirty emails.
You didn't recover that one, did you?
No, we didn't have a chance.
Thought I'd ask.
But I will say this. I can't imagine how difficult it was for a young lady to join our team and be a part of all guys and deal with all the emotions and all the halftime yag and all the me on her and that, kicking is one of the few times at that moment when a play starts, everybody's looking where the ball is, and there's guys running around everywhere. For a brief moment, when you start a kickoff, everybody in the stadium is looking at her, and that's a lot of pressure. And she stood up to it, and I was so proud of her as a young lady, but as a football player. In the end, we recovered more of her onside kicks percentage-wise than we have anybody else's in PA's history. So that tells you
I think
a lot
that's a
right
good
there.
thing.
Yeah, that's a great thing. With all that pressure, and then she performed the best. So that's outstanding.
Nice. Y'all make sure to check it out. Overtime Season, SZN on YouTube, episode 2 coming up Sunday. Do they drop it at a particular time, or are they just
11 a.m. It's going to be 11 a.m. They were going to do it on Saturdays, but then they found they had a great number of people watch. Like I said, they're almost up to 750,000, and they, for some reason, and they've got their reasons, they think Sunday is going to be even better. I think they're trying to get to 1 million. So
make sure you guys check that out. And if you haven't seen last year's interview with Coach from Natural State Sports, check out our YouTube channel, Natural State Sports. That episode is aired on there. He dives into the philosophy behind his coaching. So make sure you guys check that out. We're about to hit the linebackers. But before we do, you know what's missing, right? We're not doing pizza this week, but I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Lost Pizza.
Yeah. I'm a little sad that I don't get to eat on camera in front of everybody.
Will wants
and
to
make you
slap
jealous. I don't care what Will wants to do.
I had it
Just
for the
sit over
first
there and
time.
be
It was
all
the
right.
first time
Yeah.
Lost Pizza game.
What do you
What'd you
think?
think?
I thought it was very good. Really good. Packed full of meat. I'm a meat guy. Carnivore. Quit eating. I told you all quit eating vegetables.
Picked
My
up
mom
the
couldn't
Otis
make me
today,
anymore.
by the way.
We got the Otis for you.
It was good. Really, really good. I will definitely eat it again.
Chuck and the guys take very good care of us over at Lost Pizza. Go check them out on Highway 5 North. They're in Benton. They're open for they're not open for dine-in just yet.
See?
They do have curbside pickup, and I think now they're doing online ordering. So check them out. I don't think we've had a bad pizza yet.
They were busy as can be when I was in there picking this up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they were
in
rocking
and out.
rolling.
I think they had I'd say probably 10 to 12 cars in line when I walked in. And
LostPizza.com.
Yep. Lost
I
Pizza.
wonder if they delivered to Little Rock.
I bet you they.
I work right next door.
Just get a hold of you. You'll
Just
pick it up
no.
on the way.
Yes, we'll bring it out.
You
bring
drive right
it.
past my house anyway.
Hold it up. Just right down the road. Just have to catch an address, and I can bring it over to you.
There you go.
I don't have one of those pizza bags, so I can't promise how warm it'll be.
I
when
don't
we
even
get
need it. Pizza's pizza. Good, hot, cold.
Made
That's
cold.
the beauty of
Yep.
it.
Hey, that is.
I'm with
great.
you there.
All right, Coach. We're about to dive into our final players list.
Linebackers. Let's see it.
Final players
hang
list.
on.
Going to be
Gotta hide it.
linebackers this time. So this is going to be interesting. I had to have a little bit of extra help on this one. So,
Surprise, surprise.
well, defensive side of the ball is not my forte.
Neither is the offensive.
Well, we hey, easy over there, Will.
You played guard and tackle.
Well, I was tackle dummy if I ever played football.
Guard the water cooler and tackle anyone
They
that
didn't
gets
even trust
near.
me with the water cooler. So, I mean, who do I look like? Bobby Boucher?
No,
no,
nope,
don't even go there.
Nope. Ben, easy.
All right, easy there.
Let me get
All
my
right.
list pulled up here. Coach, a couple
I'm
seconds
gonna
here.
give Coach a couple seconds, but check out our two podcasts that we
I
have.
lost my list.
Inside the Natural State, where I thought I was there for a minute, and
You're
Around
not
the
there.
Diamond,
That's me.
Steve and
That's me.
what? You're
Me. Inside natural state.
yeah, that's you that's there.
Me. I'm there. Yes,
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, go ahead. You're good.
You sure?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So what's the other podcast?
Around the Diamond, Steve and Coach Kevin Bohannon break down the news surrounding baseball, everything from high school all the way to the Hogs. And I think they're going to be touching on the pros here pretty soon.
Hopefully touch on some pro baseball here pretty quick. Maybe got something to talk about. But you got this other show called Sports Junkies.
I was getting there.
It's pretty good on Thursday night. So
I was getting there.
without further ado,
You can join Dumb and Dumber. Sports Junkies. 7:30 on Thursdays, right here on Natural State Sports Facebook page. And I think they're on YouTube now, right?
they do the YouTube thing.
Okay. They've got a special guest every week. A few weeks ago, they had Coach Kevin
Chris.
Bohannon. This week,
They had Chris
they had
last
Chris,
night.
and we had
He was
Chris
great.
last week. And that guy knows his sports knowledge.
It's all right. I mean,
Easy
if you're
there,
watching
Andy.
Chris,
easy,
I mean,
easy.
he got it. He's good. I like Chris.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Stuck over in Georgia, but we got to have somebody represent us over there.
No, Steve and Justin break down some of the biggest topics, and they argue some of the biggest topics as well. So check them out, 7:30 on Thursdays right here on Natural State Sports. All right, Coach, you got your list?
I do, but I reserve the right. Off the top of your head, it's hard to come up with linebackers without pulling
even-
up a list of linebackers.
Here, I'll
So I
shoot
reserve the
just
right.
up here.
I reserve the right to switch.
There's a few of them to look at.
I got some
Might
too,
jog your memory.
Oh yeah,
but
I've got.
I feel so left out over here.
It's okay. My list is smart. Yours isn't.
I got nothing to say to that.
I'm gonna change one of mine.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm gonna need some. I just
Don't
ouch.
choke, buddy.
Are you referring to last week's show when I about choked all over my laptop?
I would have lost it. Where you want to be?
I don't even know what that was about either.
That's good.
I got a few of them on there that had great individual seasons. Kind of after I got to looking at it for a little bit of research. So
Yeah.
I actually have to have a little bit of help on this one, but we're gonna let Coach go first.
I'm
Coach?
going with my favorites instead of greatest Razorbacks.
Okay. Who you got?
I'm going with my fifth favorite, and I love the story of Tony Bua and the hog. Killing the hog with a knife. And he was a pretty good player too.
he wasn't a bad player.
Andy told me I couldn't have him on my linebacker list since I put him on my safety list last week.
Yeah, I know. That was border, but he played up.
Played
most
more
of the time.
linebacker than he played safety.
Yeah, he played more up. I'm counting.
But
I'm
he
going
used him
Tony
last
Bua.
week. So. Well, are you going first or me?
I'll go first this time. I've got number 5, Caleb Miller.
We should have to give the number. What's the jersey number of these guys? Do we even know that?
Caleb Miller wore 43.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was
Off the
Tony
top of my
Bua?
head.
I don't remember
knows?
that one.
Hope somebody
8?
watching knows.
8.
I felt like it was a single digit number. We
think
should
it was
know if
8.
they're that
We
good.
should.
We know what number D-Mac was. We know what number Peyton Hillis was.
He just threw a whole new element into this.
I'm just saying, y'all.
That is a good
if we're
twist.
really a fan of them, we should know what
yeah,
number they are.
exactly.
Anyway, I'm just going to throw that out there.
I've got Tony Bowie at my 5.
Nice.
Yeah, see, we linked up immediately there.
That's
cool.
because he took your list.
No, I
He
did not. I
didn't.
did not.
I
had
jogged
him
his
at-
memory.
I had 4 down. I only
See,
took
he
one off his
scribbled
list
one
and
out.
didn't even make his top 5.
Yep. I kind of broke it down. I went full career with Tony. Tony had 35 games played at linebacker, from what I could tell, through his first 3 seasons. 296 tackles, 24 for loss, 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles.
Almost 100 tackles per year.
That is pretty solid. His senior year, he swapped over to a safety and had 126 tackles, 3 for loss, 1 sack, 2 interceptions at safety. So, I mean, it's a pretty solid career. He is the leading Razorback tackler of all time with what he's got and with who he played with. If you look at some of the other guys that are there in that same time frame, it's just, I mean, Caleb Miller was there at the same time. Kenny Hamlin was there. And Tony Bowie all on the same defense on the field at the same time. That's a lot of digits going in the tackle column. He was also a 5th-round pick of the Dolphins and went and played for Saban, which I thought was
So
kind of
one
funny.
memory I have of Tony Bowie, and it's and I forget what game it was. I want to say it was the Kentucky game. And what was that, 01, 03? It's 03. He just laid this guy out. I think the whistle already blew. The play was called dead, and he just comes out of nowhere, and you just see him just lay this kid out for about 10 yards.
Was it as good as the Wade lick on the punt in Vanderbilt? The guy kind of went, oh, no, I fair catch, I'm a little late. Then he got kicked out of the game.
It's up there. It's up there. If we ever break down
I don't
our favorite
remember the
plays,
22.
22.
22.
Nice.
We were a little far off.
I
on the
like to
single
know that.
digits.
Yeah, we were. I like that.
Little
like
off,
knowing his
little off.
number.
See, with being a coach and everything, you get out there, you're seeing a number.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah,
watch
you're
for
right.
that guy with
Yep.
that number and know where he's at.
Yep. Coach, you got a number 4.
I have Martrell Spade.
You got
I'll put him up
spaded.
there.
I like Spade at 4. Don't have him there. But, you know, he was a JUCO transfer, if I remember right, but played at North Little Rock. So,
That's kind of why I like him. He's a little bit local. You know, I like
Yeah.
it when the local guys go off and do well.
yeah, come back. It's like I said, the biggest thing I can remember with him is every time, you know, they show him up on the screen, he throws that bicep up there. And
Yeah.
It's like it looks like a dang softball on top of his arm. It's just right there. It's like,
Yeah.
so,
I
Pretty
have
cool.
Tony Bullitt at 4.
you have Boo at 4.
Yes.
So you're cheating is what you're telling me.
No.
So,
Want to see
you
who
were
you
told.
had at 5 and move him up
So,
to 4.
but he wasn't supposed to have Boo on his list.
This
after
was
he had
this
him
is the
last.
point in the
Oh,
show
that's
where
right,
if
yeah.
you had powder, I would probably get it.
Look, no, I'm going to get you afterwards. It's all good. I got Scooter at 4.
I can
Scooter
see that.
Harris.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dijon. 48 games, 371 tackles, 26 for loss, 6.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. Seemed to be all over the place from freshman year, basically, through his senior year. Pretty consistent. So, definitely a defensive leader.
Okay.
I think you wore 31. 31? 31?
Scooter was
31? 8. No, he wore 8.
Yeah, Scooter was
Oh,
8.
God. You're
See?
way off again.
Yeah. Dang.
You're 0-2. You're turning into
I
me.
didn't even guess.
I know I got Caleb Miller's number right.
I didn't want to guess on that one.
Coach, number 3.
Where'd
I
get 31?
have Sam Olajibutu.
Sammy O.
I thought undersized guy. I thought he played with speed. I thought he was one of the guys that really could go sideline to sideline.
All heart.
You know,
All
and again, I didn't have a list to choose from, but he stands out in my mind as somebody that I like to watch, and I really pull for.
His picks off the cuff are I like
Pretty
it.
solid.
They're pretty solid.
They're,
And I'm not even sure if I said his name right. Olajibutu.
Yeah, you got
Is
it.
that
did.
right?
I like that one. I think if that guy would have been, you know, anywhere other than 5'8" at the tallest, maybe, say, 6'1", 6'2",
Oh, yeah.
we're talking different animal.
Well, you're
huge
talking
pro
a major
career.
NFL career.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
was
He
just-
had all the skills for sure.
If he got his hands on you, you were coming
Yeah.
to the ground with
Yep.
him.
Yeah.
That was for sure.
Who do you have?
Is it my 3 or your 3?
It is your 3.
Well, I think we matched up again here with old Coach and it's Sammy O. 2002, 2006. I think he wore number 9. I could be wrong again. 47 games, 372 tackles, one more than Scooter. 30.5 for loss, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles. Did I get that one right? Wow, I feel like
You're
an
0
idiot.
and 3, strikeout.
Hey, I'm guessing numbers. He's got me something I haven't done, so I suck at that.
Don't blame it on Coach.
Hey, it's just a competitive
Own your
thing
mistake,
here.
Andy. Go ahead.
I did own it, so I just suck at guessing numbers. Started 40 games of the 47, and he was an All-SEC selection at one point. So, which, without a doubt, he should have been.
My number 3 is Jerry Franklin.
Oh, Jerry.
376 total tackles, 5 interceptions, and 6 fumbles.
Can I say number 34?
Yes.
Okay.
Will's over here shaking his head. Yes.
Very good.
Yay! I got one.
Finally got one. It took you 4 tries.
Hey, I got your 5 too.
Okay, we'll count that one.
See?
All right. So you're
I just suck half the time.
right now. You're looking at probably Ben Hicks' completion percentage. I'm at Nick Starkel's completion percentage to San Jose State. So we're not gonna.
Yeah, he threw to them real well.
Can't beat him. Join him, I guess.
Maybe. What do you know about Jerry?
I just gave you his stats.
You did? Mm-hmm. I didn't hear it.
376 total tackles, 5 interceptions, 6 fumbles.
I had 382 tackles.
Well, my reference point, I learned not to trust it.
Mine was the university on this one.
Mine was sportsreference.com.
I had Jerry at 2.
That's not a bad pick. Coach?
I have Dre Greenlaw.
I like
Based
Dre.
primarily off of he won the NFC West for the 49ers last year on the last play of the game against
Absolutely
Seattle.
did that.
Yes.
Then they got
all
home
on his
field.
own.
Then they got to go to the Super Bowl and almost win that. But
If they had a quarterback, Steve.
heck of a player.
Oh, we're just taking shots at him tonight, aren't we? I love it. Awesome.
He is an absolute animal. I love see what his career is going to be like.
Yeah, I hope he has a good one.
Absolutely.
He stayed a little dinged up, you know.
He made another great play in a game against Seattle at Frisco too, where they tried to throw it. They ran a wheel route out of the backfield up the sideline.
remember
It
this
was gonna
play.
be easy. He jumps up and makes an extremely
Interception.
athletic interception. Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
he's
that
going to have
was-
a good career.
My
I
number
hope
2,
so.
Sam Olajubutu.
Oh, nice.
Sammy O at 2.
We're not going to talk about what it autocorrected when I was writing my notes out.
How?
I just
Who do you have at 1?
My one's not even on y'all's list
No?
because I said favorite. I'm going favorite.
Hey,
Your
that's
favorite
okay.
linebacker. Not
the
on
thing
any
is,
of my
this
lists.
is all opinion based. I don't get to see his list. He doesn't see mine until the night of the show.
Hayden Henry. I hope he sees this.
Number 1,
Hayden
Hayden.
Henry's my favorite all-time Razorback linebacker, and he's been screwed so far. So I hope the coaches let the kid play because the kid knows the game as good as any player I've ever coached in my life. He's by far, and I love all the Henrys, but he's by far the most football savvy Henry of the crew. I mean, he's the only. I mean, people know PA is offense. He won Defensive Player of the Year in the state. You know, when he played for us, it's hard to do that because people just can't see past, the offensive stuff.
He
So.
put up 75 points.
But
a game
he's.
also.
I think he has a huge year this year. I think he's a tremendous surprise for everybody.
Is he a
And
junior this year or will he be a senior? I cannot
he'll
remember
be
right now.
technically a senior because Bielema wasted his redshirt year by playing him a few plays on kickoff before you could
do the whole 4-game thing. Well, I hope he shines. Like I said, I agree with you on that. That's for sure. My one or your one?
Your one.
So you get the last pick overall on all this stuff?
I do.
Is it going to be a bad pick? Is it going to be a pick where somebody
Well, now
might?
you got me questioning it. So
It's not terrible. I just
It's
looked
not-
at
Is it just like? Is it like a seasoned star that had a few tackles on another one, or?
no. Well,
I got Caleb Miller.
okay.
I
Please
got to
tell me
looking.
you're joking.
No, I got Caleb Miller at number 1. No lie.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Thought this was going to be one of those, quarterback.
if you look at Jerry Franklin's numbers and you look at as far as Caleb Miller's numbers,
Right.
Caleb was a big guy too. Caleb, I think, was 6'2", 6'3", and pretty heavy. I want to say 230s, 240s. Played pro ball with the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken. 5th round draft pick. I don't look that up. 3rd round draft pick. Thank you, Will. Him and Jerry's numbers.
6'3", 225 was Caleb Miller.
Small guy. His numbers and Jerry's were really, really similar. But I just picked him over Jerry Franklin. 382 tackles, 36.5 for loss, 7.5 sacks, 6 interceptions, and 7 forced fumbles. means he was around the ball.
He was.
Obviously 382 tackles. Jerry, I wanted to point out something about him. If you ever looked at like his season stats before you broke down the total number, that was probably the most consistent I've ever looked at something.
I agree.
I think he had like 87 his freshman year, 94, and then 101 and 103 or something like that. I mean, it's just nuts in my opinion to be that consistent for that much time in the SEC. So,
you ready for the final one?
let me look at my list, see if I can find out who it is.
It's not bad.
I mean, I got coaches somewhat approval, so I mean that's got to count for something.
I've got a few
Coach?
down here in my
It's not bad.
one,
It's not
two,
bad.
three, four. I've got 5 honorable mentions that are here. I'm gonna pick your number one player at Jermaine Petty.
Son of a! It is Jermaine Petty. Did you know? You know that? You knew
Why
that?
would I know that?
Somebody told you.
Nobody told me anything.
Well,
Will didn't tell me anything. No lie.
that's scary. You've done that 4 weeks in a row. You've picked at least one off of my list.
Well, it's not like there's just, you're going to be pretty typical. I can tell this. Don't be doing that.
Could be pretty typical.
Don't.
You're going to be typical until you hit me with the Ben Cleveland.
Yeah,
That was,
we're not gonna
I don't know
I
what
will
you were
openly
thinking.
admit, that was a goof on my part.
Did y'all do O-line too?
Did O-line to start.
Did my boy Jonathan Lewiggs make y'all's list?
Yes.
He did.
I mean, the only guy
I've
we
got
ever
a
had with the
list
Remington
of
Award.
everything there from top to bottom.
Yes.
The only thing I really don't have stats on was O-lineman.
Was this yours in orders at 1?
It was. I had Luigs there, but actually, I broke down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I had him at like an honorable mention.
Your top 5.
I had him at number 6 in the
Guy
5.
won the
Now
won the
thing-
Remington Award. Only one in
he
Arkansas to
did.
ever win it.
Yep.
But I had Jason Peters here who played
Andrews
tight end.
and Peters, nobody can argue. I mean,
Peters played tight end. the whole time.
I mean, you could argue that in the college, but in the NFL career, I mean, unbelievable.
Oh,
John
yeah,
Andrews,
no doubt.
he-
But I had Luigs right there. Like
Ragnow,
if they were gonna
Watson.
chastise me about Peters, I
I
had
like the
Luigs in my
Chet
top 5.
Burlsworth on there. He's
Oh, yeah.
got to be in there for Swanson or Ragnow.
Yeah. So
Cool thing
sue me
about
on that one. It's
Sebastian
okay.
Trottola, you're just giving him something because he had a touchdown.
He did. It's the biggest man to throw a touchdown.
I mean,
big guy, just not tall.
people, we let that stuff factor in.
So, fun fact about Jonathan Wiggs, I actually grew up with him down the street and would actually throw the football around with him.
He's a great kid then. Now he's a great guy now.
Oh, yeah.
He is a family
Fantastic.
good guy, just a good guy.
So, Chris has been watching throughout the show, and he threw out his list. I think this is his list,
You
right?
tell
Will?
that Chad Morris visor wearing guy.
Did anybody win the $25 gift card? No.
Nobody want it? So
That
he
would've been
says,
tough.
He says honorary would be Weston Dacus, Jeb Huckabee, and Jermaine Petty.
I think if he'd have had the right defensive coaches and system, I think Jeb Huckabee could have been really, really good.
I think that.
I enjoyed Weston Dacus, and I know Weston, so I probably should have snuck him in my list.
Fun fact about Jermaine Petty, though, he had 140 tackles in 2001 alone.
Yeah, that's a big season.
Tied for 6th all-time
Petty
in
had
Arkansas.
150 that year, according to the university.
I'm starting not to rely
I don't
on
like.
sports.
I like it, but I don't. I
Yeah,
go
I'm
to the
starting to
university. I'm
realize
trusting
that.
it.
But
Coach, you gotta
his
quit that,
20,
man.
he had 20 total tackles in the 0-1 Ole Miss game overall, and that 20th tackle was the one that sealed the win over Ole Miss in that long overtime game.
Yeah, it was. I had Brooks Ellis.
Brooks Ellis was on our.
I wish he were faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he, 4.6, 4.7 speed,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
not other than like a 5.
To me, though, that's what makes me like the fact that he was able to accomplish what he did without that.
Without it,
Yeah,
that's
I
for
mean,
sure.
he was an overachiever.
So we
I
have.
had Spate. I had Quentin Caver.
Quentin Caver.
I had,
Caver's a big
he was
man.
up there.
Yeah.
It was 6'5", I think. It was one of the taller linebackers we had.
So we've
And
got
Jermaine Petty.
a comment. Cody Perrin says Jonathan Luigs knocked me out after my freshman year at PA. Helped me up after. Haha, good dude.
Cody Perry was a
Steamrolled
good dude too, but yeah, Jonathan was. He's an athletic kid for a big kid too. He
You
got
ever
up
give
to
him the
3.
ball and go.
No, I don't think we ever did that. But we needed him to block for the guy with the ball more.
I'm sure he'd just come with me.
Huh? Yeah, he did that a couple times. Did a
All
couple
right,
times.
so when we get back, we're going to wrap things up with Coach with a few more questions and me and Andy's final thoughts after a word from 501 Nutrition. Stay with us. 501 Nutrition Zone. They offer meal replacement shakes, muscle building shakes, calorie burning teas, pre-workouts, in a fun, family, energetic atmosphere. And right now, they're offering delivery or curbside. Check out their new $10 combos. They're located at 5313 Highway 5 North in Bryant. You can call them today at 501-213-9957. And we're back with Coach Kevin Kelley of the Pulaski Academy Bruins. Oh, man. Had a good show so far.
I think I kept a little money in my pocket.
You
Surprised.
did? You kind of feeling better over there?
No, it's $25. $25. I mean, if somebody hits it, cool. Let's give it away.
All right, Coach. So I've got a couple more last-minute questions for you, and they're kind of off the wall, just to kind of for everybody to get to know Coach Kelley. Okay.
I already know him.
How are you and the staff, along with the players, handling this whole dead period with the COVID-19 and all of this?
Honestly, it sucks. I mean, if you're a football coach, you like being around your guys, and, it's the favorite part of my day. You got your school stuff, and you got to go do a good job in there, but you love being around your guys, especially in the off season, because you don't have to be as on them. There's more building the relationships and developing leaders in the off season. We didn't get to do any of that, so now we're going to have to pack all that back in. Right now, we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings and Google Hangout meetings with our positions and stuff like that. That's what the AAA is allowing us to do. So we're doing that, maintaining some contact, but they called it a dead period, so we can't be with the kids. They can't come to our field and do anything, even on their own. So, man, I hate that part, and you worry about your kids. And what I'm really worried about is, and we'll just have to watch them more, is if they've been doing enough at home. So if we get them in June, it's 1,000 degrees, or they're acclimated to the heat. You got to worry about heat, heat-related illness and stuff like that. But we're way more educated now in the coaching world than we ever have been, so we'll be fine. Everybody will do a good job with that. If
there is a high school / college,
there's going to be a season.
That's what everybody says. That's the.
If there's not, I'm thinking about moving out of the country. Man, it's freaking stupid. This thing's stupid.
You'll get quarantined for 14 days before you go
anywhere. When do you quarantine for 14 days?
So just throw that out there.
I've already been quarantined for 14 days. Sean Payton made me be quarantined for 14 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what this season could look like with the fans or even without the fans on the college level?
Honestly, and you'll have to shut me up, but honestly.
No, go ahead.
Honestly, there's really, I'm a numbers guy, and there's no science. I've studied this thing backwards and forwards. There's no science and no numbers that can justify doing what we're doing the way we're doing it. There's not. I mean, if you're allowing people to go to Walmart and you're allowing people to go Home Depot, but you're not allowing people to go to church, do you think the virus knows, oh, they're at Walmart now, let's not spread? Oh, they're at church. Yeah, let's spread like crazy. Then why aren't we having church in Walmart? The whole thing's freaking stupid. And then you've got some states are opening up, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and they've got 11% reduction in the 3 weeks since they've done it. And then the mayor from Los Angeles comes out yesterday and says, we're closed down until they get a cure. Well, how this idiot expect them to pay their bills? Well, and then, and what happens is, and we know this,
rant.
we live in a CYA world. Cover your butt, but the other word. I'm trying to be nice. But we live in that where we don't make the rules and make the guidelines anymore based on what's best and right. We make them on what either, A, covers us. It's easy to say, don't go anywhere. And then if somebody dies, you're not taking the blame for it. Yeah. But what they're not looking at is, and here's a fun-filled fact for everybody, is in the history of the United States, since the unemployment rate at its highest, I think, was like 6% one time. And now, on average, for every time you go up 1% above that, you can expect 20,000 people to die more than usual from homicide, suicide, and drugs. Okay? Yeah. We're at 29%. That equates to millions of people that are going to die more from homicide, suicide, and drug. And you know this, if you've been cooped up with the same people, we're lucky we don't kill each other. And I love the people I'm cooped up with. But when you consider all that, you're really damaging the country more of that. And I know we're not getting off to that. But what I will say is as quickly as the thing shut down, we are a sensationalized social media society. The NBA was the first one to shut down because some dumb had it, and he was kissing guys in the locker room, and they all got it. And, I mean, it was the
Rudy
big
Gobert.
center for Utah. Yeah.
Rudy Gobert.
So, and he's going around making fun of
Donovan
it, kissing
Mitchell.
guys in the locker room. They end up getting it. The whole thing shut down. When the NBA shuts down, then the NHL's like, I guess we got to shut down. They didn't shut down because they wanted to. They felt like they had to.
Followed suit.
For responsibility. And then it's an avalanche effect. That big snowball gets bigger and bigger. It's coming down the mountain and nobody can stop it.
Right.
Well, what's now happening, thank God, is a little bit at a time, we're starting the avalanche the other way. Those 3 states opened up. They showed good numbers. All the other states, except for the idiots in California and Michigan, that governor, God help her. I mean, she needs to.
I like this guy,
She needs to be.
Butch.
They need to just put her in her house and give her some plants and say, play with your plants. But I mean,
Bottle of water.
she's an idiot. But that said, as we start snowballing forward,
Right.
and opening back up, and people seeing that, wait a minute, the numbers aren't going crazy. Wait a minute. You know, if you need to be careful if you're one of the people that attacks. If you've got heart problems, lung problems, or if you're an older person, you need to be careful. Maybe quarantine yourself. Let's pay for them. Let's give them unemployment. Let's take care of them. But the rest of the people want to get back out there. I mean, you know, you're driving down here. There's more traffic. I went to a restaurant for the first time yesterday, and God knows how long. People are happy. People are excited. The person I ate with, it's not a super close friend of mine. It's an acquaintance and a little bit of a friend. He was like, I think the food tastes better. I mean, you know, we get the dopamine going and those hormones and things taste better. They sound better. They feel
Did you
better.
have salt and pepper shakers on the dish?
And where I'm going with this is, as we start to do that, it's going to start that snowball getting bigger and bigger. It's going to be an avalanche coming down the other way where people are like, we're going to open. We're going to go out. We are free Americans. We want to have baseball this year, this summer.
Yes.
We want to be able to go somewhere if we want to this summer. And by gosh, no matter what happens, even if we don't get all that, we got to have football.
Yes.
And because we need sports are this in the world. I mean, in Europe it's soccer, and here it's football. Our society needs teams, so we pull together to root for one common goal. And we have a passion for sports, unlike we have a passion for anything else except for our brother, sister, mother, and father. It's just the way that it is. Right, wrong, it doesn't matter. It's just the way that it is. That's why we have ESPN, and that's why we have Fox Sports, and the Ocho and 900 other sports channels. And that's why on a given Saturday, there's 500 million people in a stadium, in a soccer stadium or a football stadium around the world watching. People have a passion for that. We need it.
You
We
heard
need it
that,
now
right,
more than
Katie?
ever.
His explanation of why we need sports.
It's good for the soul.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sharp answer.
Yeah, that's
Sorry for my rant there.
pretty mean. No, hey,
That's
no, that
perfect.
is, hey, that was perfect. So, a couple of comments. Chris says, Andy, leave my visor out of this. He also says, man, coach makes me not want to wait to move back to Arkansas to watch the Hogs and my Cersei Lions and high school football in general.
Seriously, great year last year. Won a championship.
So, last question, and we're going to get out of here for the night. When you're not coaching football, what do you do during the offseason, if there's even an offseason for Coach Kelley?
Good question. I love watching other sports. I mean, I like sitting around watching baseball. Now, the funny thing is, a lot of times I've got my computer and I'm watching football film while I'm watching a baseball game.
Right.
You know, and the same thing, I like competition. I like to study people, see how they react when they're losing, see how they react when they win. I like watching press conferences, seeing how coaches react after a loss, after a win, how they deal with individual players and stuff like that. I know that's a weird hobby, but that's what I like to do. It's a little bit of people watching in my industry, so to speak. For fun, I mean, I love, the couple of vacations you get with your family. I wish I played golf more. I used to play golf a lot and be pretty good. I feel like I'm cheating my career in football if I'm out too much playing golf, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of doing something related to that. And I enjoy working out. And my favorite thing, though, if you go, what's the one vice that you have? It's watching movies. I go to the movie theater and I'll watch the same movie over and over because it's the one time I can turn my phone off and have a great excuse to turn it off.
Yeah.
And just go.
in a movie.
So I'm in a movie. And I love movies. Love.
What's your favorite movie?
Ooh. Two that popped in my head when you said that, besides the Avenger movie. I love Avengers,
Yes.
by the way. But
Yes.
if you want a meaningful movie, A Few Good Men.
Good movie.
Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise, Demi
Solid
Moore.
film.
And then the other one is Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money,
The
Jerry.
meaning of that, but the line that A Few Good Men that Jack Nicholson said when he's on the stand, he said, and I feel like this here. I'm viewed as kind of a bad guy here. I mean, a mean guy because I'm holding everybody accountable, and I'm a disciplined guy, and I'm a military-style guy a little bit when it comes to our players. I still try to have that relationship. But, you know, he said something, and it's true about the CIA. When people get mad, are they torturing people or are they not? I don't know. If a terrorist says he's fixing to blow up 1 million people,
I'm going to torture
and we've
him.
got to get it. I'm torturing a guy and getting the stuff, you know, and they're trying to make us not. And I get it. I see both sides. But he says, you rise and fall under the very blanket of security I provide, then question the manner in which I provide it. On a football level, that's what people still do to me here sometimes that are sitting in the stands. But they look up, and they had never won anything before I became head coach and got in the guys I wanted coaching-wise, and now we've won 8 in the last 17 years. But still, when we lose a game, you know, there's still people like, well, I don't know about this stuff. And I know it's human nature. But I'm like, that's when I think of that statement every time. You rise and fall under the very blanket of security I provide, and then you question the manner in which I provide it. Which the good thing about it is that it makes me a lot less inclined to when somebody does, like the Michigan governor saying the dumb stuff and the Los Angeles mayor. I try not to say something about them because if I want to make that decision, I have to go get that job. But I feel sorry for those people because we live in a free country and they're taking it away from them. But I'm a movie guy.
Yes.
Long story short, I'm a movie guy.
So Chris Shaw says his movie is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So
Funny movie.
Feel free to take his man card at any point.
He's
If
a
we're
Notebook
talking
fan
chick
from what I
flicks and
heard.
rom-coms because I'm in a great relationship, then yes.
That's definitely a man card taker.
You know you like the Notebook.
I've never seen it.
Never seen it.
Never
need to
seen
see
it.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Oh, my gosh.
Give it here, Andy.
I don't have one.
Wait. I'll have Steve take
It's
it
already
from
been
you.
taken.
Steve's got it? All right.
I don't know who's got it. I'll admit it, though. Oh, man,
All right, Andy. Any
Was it
final
good?
thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
Wasn't a bad show. Be honest with you.
Which one's that one?
You know, like I said,
Notebook.
all I got is the human head weighs 8 pounds. That's all
That's
I
all
got.
you got out of Jerry Maguire? Good.
Show me the
No,
money,
it's just
Jerry.
funny.
Yeah. That was
and the
good.
little
That was
kid
good.
going,
That was
"You
good.
suck."
That was good though.
Yeah,
Do you
that
know
was-
bees can smell fear?
And
Seen
with
that one a
that,
couple
Let's not even talk about the killer hornets. Don't even
Yeah,
go
no,
there.
we're not
Don't
even
go
gonna
to
go
the
there.
killer hornets.
I got a
that's
fly
a whole
swatter.
nother. It's a whole nother
Plain
thing.
and simple. A lighter and a can of off will fix any insect that you have a problem with.
I like it.
The
I'm
bottom
having
of
an
my
ant
foot.
problem at my house. I'm actually.
Hey, the bottom of my foot. I'm slow walking. I can still outwalk an insect without wings.
Nope, I'm
Plain
not going to
and
say what I'm
simple.
thinking. Anyway, on
You're
that
not
note,
thinking.
Coach, we thank you for joining us tonight. I know we've covered a lot, but best of luck to you in the 2020 season.
Thank you.
And
Go get another one.
I'm excited to watch you guys. I'm excited for this new documentary or mini series. I don't know what they call
Web
it now.
TV series.
Web TV series.
Web TV series.
Check it out. It's Overtime SZN on YouTube. Check them out Sunday. Drops at about 11 noon-ish. But Andy, next week we got a whole new crop of stuff.
Yeah.
Until then, you've been watching Natural State Sports
I got to
live.
start thinking again.
So long, everybody.